Hey guys, welcome to the second part of the video. If you are watching this and you haven't watched the previous video, you might consider watching that before coming here because it's relevant and related. You can start booking your visa interview essentially after you have your I-20 and your I-901 receipt and your TS-160 application sorted. So once you have these three things, you can start looking for slots. You can basically book your visa interview 120 days prior to your program start date. Program start date is mentioned in your I-20. As for entering the US, you can enter the US 30 days before your program start date. So you can't enter like 3 months. Even if you have your visa approved, you can enter 3 months before your program starts, and your program start date is mentioned in the I-20. So corresponding to that, 30 days prior you can enter. So those are the numbers: 120 days for visa booking and then 30 days for entering the US. So when you're booking the visa appointment, there are two parts to it: the OFC, which is basically a fingerprint and your photograph will be taken, and then the other day it could be the next day or it could be a week later, you get the VI, which is your visa interview. So I got mine done like 16th and 18th November. So when I booked a slot for OFC 16th, I immediately got redirected to the page for the VI, the interview, which I chose on 18th, the next day. Although I've heard that people sometimes get OFC slots for the fingerprint, for the biometrics, but do not get the actual interview, which is a little weird. It ideally should be a part of the same, but whatever. If you do not get a slot, the way to go about it is booking an expedited interview. So expedited interview, you will qualify if you are 60 days within your program start date. So let's say your program starts in January, for example, and you're looking for slots from, let's say, September, because from September you are eligible 4 months, right? So but you don't get, and now you're in, let's say, December. So then you can actually book a placeholder of an interview in, let's say, some 2025, 2026, and then schedule an expedition of your interview, and mostly it will be approved. But again, the issue is I have seen cases where people haven't got, like, people are not getting placeholders anywhere in 24 or 25 or 26. So these are the issues, but hopefully if you keep on checking frequently, or if you're part of like Telegram groups or any group that kind of notifies slots once they're open, then you should be able to get a slot. Honestly, there is no hack that I know. I got it, like I just woke up in the morning and I was checking and I got slots very luckily. So that's on the slot booking front. The first is the OFC appointment. So I want to talk quickly about that. It's a 10-minute in and out process. You'll have to make a line. No, your phones should be switched off. You can take them inside, but it should be switched off. It should be in your pocket, and you will only carry your DS 160 form and your passport. So these are the only two in Kolkata Consulate. That's in Kolkata OFC office. That's where I went. The OFC and the VI are in separate buildings. At least in Kolkata, they're in the same area but in separate buildings. The visa interview is in the consulate. The OFC is in just it's like a separate office for that. So I was asked to get my DS 160 and my passport. Go in. I got my biometrics done, fingerprints, got my photograph taken, and they put a stamp on my DS 160, and then they sent me with my DS 160 and your passport done. 10 to 15 minutes max. The process will take like 2 minutes. The wait time is, let's say, 10 minutes. That's it. I went back. 2 days later was my interview. In the interview, you're not allowed to carry anything like phone, wallet, whatsoever, anything. So you have to keep it outside in your car with your parents if they're accompanying you, with your friends, whatever. Or in some places, if you're going alone, let's say I went alone, so I kept it in the car. But if you're going alone and let's say you've used public transport, then there will be some stores or something where you can like keep them for, let's say, $100 or something. $100 as in 100 INR, of course. You can keep them, and you can carry like a clear file, like a clear bag where everything is visible. You have to carry your DS-160, the stamped DS-160 from your OFC, your passport, your I-20. Obviously, they'll ask for your I-20, your I-901 receipt. These are the main documents, these four. But apart from that, you should carry your proof of funds as well. Nobody ever asks for it. This was like a new thing for me. I thought that in a visa interview, typically they ask for the proof of funds, but apparently nobody ever does. Like, of all the people that I've spoken with, nobody has ever been asked to show their, let's say, the visa officer won't ask for their bank statements because the college has already seen it and then they have issued your I-20. So the I-20 is basically the proof of fund to the visa officer, because the college has already done all these verification for your finances, and then they've given the I-20. So once they have the I-20 is generated, you do not have to show your proof of funds again. Generally the questions are around, I'm not sure if I am allowed to say the exact question that was asked to me, but it's available on the internet. The general questions are around like, how are you funding it? why this school, why this degree, why are you specializing in this degree, and how long do you intend to stay in the United States. That is mentioned in your I-20. It's generally like your degree plus 6 month or a 1 year additional time frame if you're doing a thesis or whatever. For my master's degree, it was 3 years. But I'm going to be completing in, let's say, 2 years, because I'm not doing a thesis mostly. Regardless, that is the intended time that you're staying. And then questions like, if you say that your parents are funding it, then how are they funding it? What is their occupation? Or maybe like, what if you're funding at least partially, then what is your source of income? What was your source of income? Stuff like that. Mostly around finances and the degree in itself. Nothing beyond that. And generally no proof of funds, no like paperwork. But again, it's wise to carry everything. You don't want to risk, like, let's say it's a 1 in a million situation and it's on you, and then you don't carry your balance conference certificate or your loan sanction letter. So whatever you use during your I-20, just carry them along with your resume, transcripts, everything. Next, what to wear. Wear smart formals or smart casuals. Do not wear like a suit or anything because you're a student. I was actually planning on wearing a suit, and then my friend was like, are you insane? Then don't do it. I didn't know, right? So basically, generally it's good to like tuck your shirt or t-shirt in. Don't like wear a round neck with, I don't know, joggers, obviously. Secondly, do not be late. Obviously, be there like 1 hour prior, because actually in my OFC case, my time was at 10:30, but they start calling in at 10 and I was out at 10:15. So you don't want to miss your slot or anything. I'm not sure how that works. For a visa interview, you obviously do not want to miss a slot, but even for OFC, I don't think if you miss the slot, there can be repercussions. So I don't know about that. Generally go there like 1 hour prior. During the visa interview, you go into the consulate, you're asked to like go like scan and stuff your belt, remove your belt, watches, everything. And then you proceed to another line, then you proceed to another line until you go to the main section, where there will be like, let's say, the officers who are there like on the other side of like a glass window. So, and you'll be standing. So basically you will have some buffer to see like how the interview is happening for the 3-4 people who are ahead of you. I actually saw someone getting rejected because she could not properly explain what she was studying. She was first of all studying something not very pursued. So if you're like studying computer science, you generally like your chance of rejection is super low. But she was studying some political science, I think, and then she was unable to speak, unable to communicate. She got rejected. In front of me there were 2-3 more people who were pursuing STEM, so they were in and out in like probably 1 minute. My interview lasted less than a minute. Yeah, that's a short time. If you get rejected, you will get a 214B form, which essentially means that you haven't been able to convince the officer or that you're eligible for it. So it can mean like no strong ties with your country. So if the officer gets a hint that you intend to plan on staying there for a longer period of time, let's say he or she asks what is your plan after your degree, and you say that, hey, I want to live there, I want to start working there and make a life in the US, then yeah, chances are you'll probably get rejected. So if you get rejected, they'll give you back the 214B and the passport. Probably don't ask the officer that why are you giving me this, why you're giving this form to me, what specific reason, because 214B is like a blanket statement. But probably don't charge the officer. Funny thing, the woman that got rejected also asked, because she was probably not prepared for the interview. So she asked that, why am I getting rejected? And the officer was like calm, but in some cases they might be agitated if you cross question them. Chances are, if you're pursuing STEM, if you have like your I-20 and everything, if your DS-160 information is accurate, which is a simple thing to do not mess up your DS-160, then the chances of rejection is pretty low. But I would say it's a very panicky situation. I couldn't sleep the night before, although I did everything correctly, and I knew that this is just one of those things that on the other side of it seems scary, but once you cross it, it's just like you make videos about it and tell other people how to do it. But before it's scary, and it's perfectly fine. I didn't sleep. I slept for like 2 hours, and I was panicking a lot that if it gets rejected, then a lot of things are at stake, and course of life will be pretty different, because I would probably not just I would probably just tank the idea of coming to the US if I would have gotten rejected at the visa stage. Okay, that's about me. The next thing is, when you're booking the slot for visa, you have to pay $160, which I think roughly translated to 13,000. Let me just check if that's correct. Yeah, 13,000 INR. That's how much I paid. It's a good idea to pay 650 rupees extra to get that couriered back to you, the passport couriered back to you, because let's say you selected, let's say you want to collect it from the consulate, and then later you have to change the consulate and it's not in your hometown. So what will you go to, like Delhi, let's say you're from, let's say, Chennai, and then you have to go to Delhi again to collect after 14 days. So obviously pay that 650 rupees to get it couriered back to you. That is pretty much it. I think I covered everything from the payment to the interview to what documents you need to carry. If I have missed anything, feel free to reach out in the comments or in the Instagram, and I'll be happy to help. I'm an amateur YouTuber, so I can miss out on some details. I think there are multiple videos where they show exactly every step, how to book a slot, what details to put everywhere, and same for DS 160. So I'm not gonna do that, and I'm just talking about my experience and how everything went. But for these, just to recheck what you've done everything correctly, you can there are a lot of available videos. If your visa is approved, the officer will tell you that, hey, your visa is approved. He'll give back your I-20 and he'll keep the passport. Don't ask for your passport back. If your visa is rejected, he or she will give the passport back along with the rejection form. So these are the only two possibilities that can happen, and then you walk out. That's pretty much it. I'll end the video here. If this was helpful, do like and subscribe, and if this was not, then let me know what the questions are, and I'll probably try to answer them in an FAQ. But I think I've pretty much covered everything. If you're watching this before your visa interview, all the best. I hope that you get your visa, because it's like a panicky situation. I mean, I faced it. I had like a very high level of stress the night before, so I completely get it, and everybody who has gone through this process gets it. But all the best. Hopefully everything will be fine. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video.